Hi, it's Sean Havens with the Benefit Haven back for another video for you. We're going to go over annuities and how they work and kind of the different types of annuities. I didn't write annuities for the first like 8 years of my career. I've been in the business 17 years because I just didn't know what they were or how they worked and things like that. So I didn't really want to talk about them. And I realized later on that it's probably the easiest thing to sell because it's just concepts. They have some type of investment, their money somewhere, and why not be in an annuity? But you need to be able to talk about it and get them to understand why it's a benefit to having that. And we do that through concepts, and we'll get into those. Before we go any further, though, make sure you subscribe down below to our videos so that you're not missing any content. Give us a like if you're enjoying the contents providing value to you. And any comments down below, we'd love to answer your questions and help you out in any way we can. All right, so let's get into annuities here. What are the different types of annuities? Now we have three main ones. There's one I like the most, fixed annuities. There's index annuities and variable. Okay, I enjoy the indexed the most to talk about and to provide to my clients, and I'll go into a little bit why. Now these are going to be a breakdown of kind of the different features of an annuity, and not to say that some of these features aren't in the fixed, but the fixed really you're really just getting a fixed rate. And why you would really want to do a fixed annuity is, let's say they have a CD, a money market, and you're trying to get them a higher rate of return, right? And you want a lower contract, okay? Which I'll take a second here and just explain that. Annuities, what are annuities? They're ultimately contracts. It's a contract between the client and the insurance company. And that may sound like a bad term, but contracts are good. They provide guarantees. Okay, so what is it? It's a contract. Okay, so contracts are basically in there to provide them with something ongoing, and to know that they have to stick to that contract. All right, so guarantees are good for somebody, especially in their retirement years, to make sure that they're going to have something in place for them when they need it, or that their money's not going to go anywhere, right? So an insurance contract is an annuity. Okay, so you probably also know annuities. You may not know it specifically, but annuities are also how, like, if you win a jackpot, or you win something on Wheel of Fortune, or at the casino, they're going to pay you out in the form of an annuity. You can mention that to your clients, because if they have this bad connotation on them, annuities are bad, they're terrible. Well, if somebody wins a jackpot and they pay them out an annuity, they're not so terrible anymore, right? So that's what, just getting people to understand and debunking some of these myths that some of these other professionals have said about annuities. I won't name names, but other professionals have called annuities bad because they don't want people to have annuities for their own reasons, right? So annuities are good if they're put in the right position. I think they should be in pretty much every senior's portfolio because, again, they provide guarantees. They don't lose anything. Okay, nobody's lost a penny in the history of fixed index annuities. So that's a good thing. All right. So fixed, again, never lose. Okay, they're going to guarantee any single premium deposit that they put into an annuity. They will never lose that due to loss of gains or loss of index value. Right. So they're going to have maybe a 3%. And why would they do a fix? They maybe have a CD giving them 2%. So if we can do a fix for maybe 3.5% or 4%, then why not, right? So they're going to be able to have access to some of that money. Usually 10%, they're going to get a year access to their money, where a CD, they're going to lock it up for, if they want any decent return, that's probably a 5-year CD contract. So why not do a 5-year fixed annuity that's going to grow tax deferred for them, and that's going to have a higher rate of return that they can access if they want a little bit of their money. Maybe an initial premium bonus on top of that. So there's a lot more flexibility, a lot more features to an annuity than they would get at a CD or a money market contract, right? So that's why a fixed one would be good. I haven't done too many fixed because I just feel like you get more out of the index for your clients. So, but if you want to do a shorter term, they don't want to do the 8, the 10, the 12-year index annuity contracts. They sometimes can get down to 5-year on the fixed, which is a nice nice product to have in your bag. So I'm going to move on to the index because this is where I do most of my business in the index annuities, and I'll go through the features and why that's the case. All right, so the cash value that they have in there. So let's say they put an initial $100,000 as a premium into a fixed index annuity. That's the cash. So there's a cash value, cash surrender value, and I'll go into that in a later video how all that's broken down. But the cash value, let's say it's $100,000, right? So they may get a premium bonus of, let's say, 3, 5, 7%, which initially would be $105,000 in their contract. But let's say there's no premium bonus and they just want to maximize the interest they're going to get every year. So they can tie their cash value to different indices. Okay, so the S&P 500 or other ones like the Janus Fund or NASDAQ or different things like that. So they have more flexibility. If one index is doing better, over a year, they can change their allocations. So it makes it really nice and flexible where they're not just stuck somewhere for 8 to 10 years, right? So that's the good thing, is they can really get that upside gain. So in the fixed, they're not going to get, the most they're going to get is whatever that fixed amount is. But let's say the S&P goes on a tear and it's up 15, 20%. Well, they can participate in those gains, which is really nice, without any chance of losing. They're never going to lose anything that they put in there due to market volatility. So they're going to have $100,000, and if the S&P 500 goes up 15%, let's say they're participating in that 50%, they're going to get 7.5% on top of the 100,000, and then the next year the S&P 500 goes down 20%. They still have 107,000. Okay, so that's the guarantees and the safety of the annuities, right? So why not? Why not have something where you can have great gains and never lose? Zero is hero when something's down 20%, right? So potential for higher gains. So basically, again, we're gonna say here's fixed. This is the potential for higher gains. You can get. I mean, I've had clients get 10+% in something they can never lose, which is fantastic, right? And why can you never lose? So the way an annuity contract works, there are a lot more restrictions on insurance companies. So they have to set aside, for every dollar that your client has in an annuity, they have to actually set aside $1 plus any guarantees that they're offering in a reserve account. So the money's always sitting there as a safety net for your clients. So you can maybe let them know that as a guarantee. I don't know how you get safer than that, right? So they're going to put that money aside. So their money's safe, it's guaranteed, plus the way they invest it, they're going to take 2/3 of the money that they put in there and invest in guarantees. When they're putting, millions or billions of dollars into a fund to provide guarantees, they're going to get a higher rate of return than somebody putting maybe $100,000 in. Okay, so they're going to take 2/3 of that money, put it in guarantees, so that whatever happens with the market, their money's guaranteed. They're never going to go below that initial $100,000 premium. Okay, so as far as market volatility goes, and now what happens is they take the other third of that and they invest in call options. Okay, so call options are basically contracts that if they go up, they exercise them, they make money. Your client makes money. If they go down, they expire worthless and nothing happens. So that's kind of how the annuity works. If the S&P 500 goes up, then the insurance company makes money, your client makes money. If it goes down, it expires worthless, nothing happens. Okay, zero is great when everybody else is down 20%. So it's really nice. So that's how it works, and you can explain that to your clients so that they understand where those guarantees, because they're going to ask you, how does that work? How does the insurance company make money? Well, let me explain to you how, and you can explain that to them. All right. So the one way that the annuity could possibly go down is if you give them extra riders or something extra on the policy. So an enhanced death benefit, an income rider, something that's going to give them more benefit. That's the only way that they'll have fees. But a traditional, if you're just doing the fixed index annuity, there's no fees. There's no administrative fees. By the way, you can tell them your client doesn't pay you as the agent directly, as opposed to maybe a financial advisor that's charging fees on assets under management. They're not paying you directly. The insurance company is paying you for doing a service or providing that service to your client. So it's really nice. So if they put $100,000 in the account, $100,000 goes into the account. And the only way they're going to be charged any fees is if they're adding something extra that's going to give them an enhancement on their policy. Okay, so that's what's great about these fixed index annuities. All right. So again, never lose. Their cash value can be tied to an indice to get higher gains on the annuities. They can put riders on there, which we'll talk about, an income rider, an enhanced death benefit rider. So all of those things, they can do liquidity riders to be able to get more access to their funds. One of the things in annuities is, as far as having access, I talked about on the fixed, but they can get access to 10% a year, usually after the first year. They can start to access that. Now there are enhancements where you can get, if they don't take anything out the first year, they can take 20% out the next year and things like that. So those are all different details in the products themselves. So a lot of different products out there that do different things, but just to keep it simple, there's no fees if you just get a traditional fixed index annuity to them. So all right, so let's continue on with this. So one of the riders is a lifetime income. One of the greatest things, and again, if somebody wins a jackpot or has a big amount of money coming to them, they usually pay out in the form of an annuity. So they can choose a much lower like lump sum amount, or they can choose a lifetime amount. And that's the same thing with an annuity. So pensions are going away, right? So back in 1971 with the ERISA Act, it kind of changed things. So when we went from pensions to 401ks. Now there's still pensions around with government employees and things like that, but with 401ks, it's a defined amount. As soon as that amount's gone, it's gone. Okay, so where this comes in is they can move that money, those 401ks, IRAs, or even non-qualified money into an annuity and get a lifetime benefit from that. So they can know that no matter what happens with the market, they're going to get X amount of dollars for the rest of their life. Okay, and that's where the lifetime income comes into play. So you can put a rider on there so that accumulates two buckets of money, which I'll go into in a different video. But there's two buckets of money: the cash value bucket and the income bucket, and that would provide an income once they exercise that rider, an income for the rest of their life, which is really nice. They can count on that. Okay, so we have different allocation options. So you can allocate 50% of their money towards the S&P 500 and then 50% towards the Janus fund. So they have different options they can choose from, so they can participate in different indices around the market. So really great. Semi-liquid is what I talked about as far as the 10%. They can take out, they can have access to their money. If they need long-term care, a lot of those policies allow them to take out even more money to pay for long-term care. That comes directly out of the cash value. Some of the other things, they grow tax deferred. So they're not paying for, let's say they have a stock or something where the stock is bought and sold, and they're getting a 1099 for that stock, the sell of that stock. Where with an insurance contract or an annuity, they're growing tax deferred. So they're not going to get a 1099 until they actually take the money out. All right, so that's another benefit that they're going to have. So they can wait until they have lower income, their earned income turns into maybe Social Security or a pension when they retire, and now they can start drawing that when their tax bracket's lower. So they can really design that a little bit better for them. All right, so a lot of benefits in an annuity and how it works. Just a little bit about a variable. First of all, you do need a securities license to do that, so I'm not going to go into that much. But they do have potential loss because they're directly tied to the market in variable products. So a lot of the bad connotation about annuities have come from variable annuities. So there's fees to them as well. So they're actually charging fees because they're managing funds. And because they have a securities license, they're actually in securities, so they're managing those. So they're buying and selling and things like that. So that's how that works. That's why there's fees attached to it. And I don't do variable annuities. I don't prefer them. I really like the index annuities because they can maximize their gains without any losses, which I like. I never want to have to go back to somebody and tell them I lost their money for them. I'd rather come back and say, hey, we didn't make 15%, but we made 8%, we made 9%. And then when there's a loss, I go back and say, you know what? We made 0, but we didn't lose 20%. So I'd much rather be doing that for my clients, and I feel more comfortable with that. I'm all about security, protection, and securing their financial future. All right, so There are a lot of good things about annuities. I will get into the concepts, how to talk to people about them, how to sell them. But these are really the features, how the policy works. And I will also do for our members, if you do go to thebenefithaven.com and be part of the Mentor Haven, I'm going to go through and break down illustrations, how they work, the difference in surrender value, cash value, and how that all plays out, and the different indices. I'm going to walk through maybe even an application. And if you do join us too, you're going to have higher contracts. You're going to make a lot more money on each annuity that you do. So if you join us, thebenefithaven.com, you can join us as well. Get those higher contracts and experience more money on each sale that you make. Okay. So we have an annuity back office that will help you with case design, all that kind of stuff. So there's a lot that we offer. We really focus on the three main components to making a lot of money, making those six figures as an agent, which is the marketing, making sure you have a marketing program or system that works and is affordable. We have that. Having a mentor program that is going to teach you the sales, the products, the best practices, and give you real-time answers to appointments and case design, things like that. And we also have the high contracts so that you're not having to write two policies to get to one of what we would offer you at your current contract level. Plus immediate vesting. If you don't know what that means, you want to check with your company because you probably had a 5 to 15 year vesting schedule, and you're going to be immediately vested with the Benefit Haven because the carriers are going to pay you directly. Okay, so those are all key components to what I believe is going to make you successful, make you more money, earn those six figures, have that freedom, and really excel and thrive in your career. So we're going to go into. I'm going to break down. Really how to sell, how to talk to your clients about index annuities in the next video. So stay tuned for that.